Country music has brought joy to millions of people for many years. Some of its biggest stars gave us songs we will never forget. Sadly, many of these stars faced pain and sickness behind the scenes. They fought brave battles with diseases that slowly took their lives. Some passed away young, while others suffered for many years. Their stories are truly heartbreaking, but their music lives on. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into 20 country stars who lost their lives to horrible diseases. Number 20, Joey Feek. Joey Feek was one half of the country duo Joey and Rory. She sang beside her husband Rory, and their music touched the hearts of many all over the world. Their songs were about family, faith, and love. People felt like they knew them, even if they had never met. Joey had a strong voice, not just in singing, but also in the way she lived. She grew up on a small farm in Indiana. She was kind, warm, and was described as full of faith. In 2002, she moved to Nashville to pursue her dream of singing. She met her husband Rory, and they married, later becoming a team on and off the stage. In 2014, Joey was diagnosed with cervical cancer just after the birth of their daughter, Indiana. She went through surgery and treatment, and for a while, things looked better. Then the cancer came back, stronger than before. This time, it spread, and her doctors said there was nothing more they could do. Joey decided to spend her last months at home with her family. She stayed strong through the pain and sadly passed away in March 2016. She was only 40 years old. Her story touched people all over the world. Her songs and her strength are still remembered today. Joey's voice left a mark on the country music world that will never fade. Number 19, Don Williams. Don Williams was known affectionately as the gentle giant of country music. He was one of the most original and gifted talents in American country music. The modest and unassuming Texas gentleman had one of the longest hit streaks in the history of country music. He didn't just make it big in the United States. Fans in the United Kingdom also loved him. He earned gold and platinum records overseas and even crossed over onto the pop charts. That kind of success didn't change him. He stayed modest and quiet, just like he always was. Songs like It Must Be Love, Amanda, and Lord, I Hope This Day Is Good were fan favorites. Later in life, Don got sick. He was diagnosed with a lung disease called emphysema. It gradually became more difficult for him to breathe. He stopped touring and kept to himself. There wasn't much news about it until he passed away in September 2017 at 78 years old. His demise was peaceful, according to the friends and family who were present at his deathbed. This tragic end deeply affected many fans worldwide, and several mourned him and paid tribute to him on social media. He will always be remembered as one of the best country stars of his time. Number 18, Toby Keith.
Stand up and salute, we'll always recognize when we see your glory flying.
Toby Keith was one of the biggest names in country music. His songs were bold, full of energy, and proud of his roots. He sang about love, loss, family, and America. Songs like Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, Should Have Been a Cowboy, and How Do You Like Me Now made him a star. Toby was born in Oklahoma. Before he became a musician, he worked in the oil fields and played football. Later, he dedicated himself entirely to music and rose to the top of the field. He was known for his deep voice and sharp lyrics. He also helped support American troops and gave back to the community. In the late 2021, Toby was diagnosed with abdominal cancer. He kept it private at first while he went through treatment. He had surgery, chemotherapy, and other care, but the cancer was hard to beat. He stayed strong and even performed again for fans when he felt well enough. On February 5th, 2024, Toby Keith passed away at 62 years old. The news shocked fans. Many people said Toby was a fighter until the very end. His songs still play loud at rodeos, small-town bars, and big stadiums. Number 17, Charley Pride. Charley Pride broke barriers in country music. He was the first black superstar in the genre and one of the most respected voices the industry ever had. His music was smooth, heartfelt, and full of soul. Songs like Kiss an Angel Good Morning, Is Anybody Going to San Antone, and Mountain of Love made him a household name. He grew up in Mississippi and worked hard from a young age. Before music, he played baseball in the Negro Leagues. He later moved into singing, and by the late 1960s, his songs were topping the country charts. He won award after award, including the Country Music Association's Entertainer of the Year in 1971. Charley had a long career and continued to perform well into his later years. Even as he aged, his voice stayed strong.
ever I chance to meet some old friends on the street.
In November 2020, he made his final public appearance at the Country Music Awards. Not long after that show, he was diagnosed with COVID-19. His health got worse. On December 12, 2020, Charlie Pride passed away from complications of the virus. He was 86 years old. Number 16, Glen Campbell. Glen Campbell was more than just a country singer. He was a gifted guitarist, a smooth vocalist, and a familiar face on television. His songs like Wichita Lineman, Gentle on My Mind, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, and Rhinestone Cowboy made him a household name. He blended country with pop in a way few others ever could. Before singing, he played guitar for other stars, even Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra. Once he stepped into the spotlight himself, his career took off. In the 1970s, he had hit after hit and hosted the Glen Campbell Good Time Hour on national TV.
Where hustle's the name of the game.
Glen won many awards during his lifetime. Even late in his life, his work was honored, and he won another Grammy for his final album. In 2011, Glen revealed that he had Alzheimer's disease. It slowly took away his memory, but he still chose to go on one last tour. He wanted to say goodbye through music. He passed away on August 8, 2017, at the age of 81, after battling the disease for a while. Even as the disease took his mind, he still managed to put his fans and the music world first. He will be forever remembered as a legend in the world of country music. Number 15, Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette was known as the First Lady of country music. She sang about love, heartbreak, and what it meant to hold on when everything felt like it was falling apart. Songs like Stand By Your Man Until I Can Make It On My Own turned her into a legend.
Today, I sat alone at the window.
Behind the music, Tammy was fighting a hard battle. For much of her adult life, she suffered from a long list of health problems. She had problems with her stomach, intestines, and liver. She went through dozens of surgeries, lived with chronic pain, and was often on strong medicine just to get through the day. She kept recording, even when her body was weak. Her voice never fully faded. People could hear the hurt and the strength in every word she sang. That's what made her special. Unfortunately, Tammy passed away on April 6, 1998, at the age of 55. At first, people were told it was a blood clot in her lungs. Later reports said she had heart failure made worse by her long-term health problems. For someone who suffered throughout her adult life, she didn't hide her pain. Instead, she turned it into songs that millions still listen to today. That was her way of surviving, and she will forever be remembered for her impact on country music and fans. Number 14, Hank Snow. Hank Snow came from Nova Scotia, Canada, but his heart belonged to country music. He sang with a smooth, old-style voice that carried stories about trains, heartbreak, and the open road. Songs like I'm Moving On, I've Been Everywhere, and The Golden Rocket made him a major star in the 1950s and 60s.
So I'm moving on. Flying the big loud whistle as a blue and blue said hello to the sun.
He started from nothing. His early life was hard. He worked on fishing boats and did small jobs just to get by. However, music became his way out. Once he moved to Nashville, his career took off. He joined the Grand Ole Opry in 1950 and remained a member for over 40 years. Hank's health began to decline in his later years. He dealt with breathing problems and heart issues. The disease that finally took his life was heart failure after a long period of poor health. He passed away on December 20th, 1999, at the age of 85. His song had so much impact on everyone that even soldiers regarded his song, I'm Moving On, as a war anthem. And a maneuver was named after him, which is Pull a Hank Snow, a code for soldiers to make an unscheduled retreat or advance. This is proof that his name will never be forgotten. Number 13, Ray Price. Ray Price had one of the best voices in all of country music. His sound was bold, rich, and filled with emotion. He helped shape what country music became, first with the honky-tonk sound, then with lush string arrangements that made his songs feel almost like country mixed with soul. He didn't chase trends. He made his path, and people followed. Ray's music reached fans in every generation, and his voice stayed strong for more than 60 years. In 2012, Ray was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He underwent treatment and continued to perform when he could. The disease returned the following year, and it spread rapidly. Ray decided to stop treatment and spend his last days at home with his family. He passed away on December 16, 2013. He was 87 years old. He was one of the people who helped shape the sound of modern country music and will never be forgotten for his impact. Number 12, Eddie Arnold. Eddie Arnold was known as the Tennessee Plowboy, but his music was a source of inspiration to many people. He helped change country music by introducing a softer sound that appealed to a broader audience. His voice made people feel calm. It was the kind of music you could play at home with your family. As he got older, Eddie faced a slow and painful health decline. He suffered from severe arthritis, which made it hard for him to move. Simple things became difficult. The pain was constant, and his body began to weaken. He also started to show signs of other age-related illnesses, including memory loss and trouble breathing. Doctors said his immune system was no longer strong enough to fight off even the smallest infections. His body had grown tired after many long years. Eddie Arnold passed away on May 8, 2008, from complications tied to arthritis and natural aging. He was just 2 months away from turning 90. Even in his final days, he stayed peaceful and passed away surrounded by family. Number 11, George Jones. George Jones was one of the most distinctive voices in country music. When he sang, you could feel the gravity of every word. His songs were loved because they were stories full of heartache, regret, and real-life occurrences. He Stopped Loving Her Today is still called one of the greatest country songs ever written. George had a long career that lasted more than 50 years. Along the way, he had struggles. For many years, he battled alcohol and substance use problems. Later, he got clean and focused only on his music. As he got older, George began to have serious health problems. Years of smoking and drinking had taken a toll on his lungs. He was diagnosed with chronic respiratory issues, and his breathing became harder over time. He had hospital stays and canceled shows more than once during his final years. In April 2013, George was taken to the hospital again with a fever and trouble breathing. This time, he didn't recover. He passed away on April 26, 2013, from respiratory failure. He was 81 years old. Number 10, Roger Miller. Roger Miller was the kind of guy who could make you laugh with just one line of a song. He didn't take himself too seriously, and that's what made him special. His music was full of little jokes and relatable stories, but somehow it all worked. Songs like Dang Me, Chug-a-Lug, and King of the Road were catchy. He was well known for his unique lyric style and well loved for it.
No phone, no pool, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes.
Roger grew up poor in Texas and Oklahoma. He picked cotton, worked odd jobs, and played music whenever he could. He started out writing songs for other singers, then began recording his own. His sound was fresh and different, and people loved it. In just 1 year, he won 7 Grammy Awards, more than any other country artist had ever won at once. In total, he won 11 Grammy Awards during his lifetime. Later, Roger got sick. He had smoked for many years, and it damaged his lungs and throat. Doctors told him he had lung cancer, and later, it spread to his throat. He went through treatment, but it didn't help for long. His voice got weaker, and he spent his last months at home with his family. Roger Miller passed away on October 25, 1992. He was 56 years old. The cause of death was lung and throat cancer. Number 9, Charlie Louvin. Charlie Louvin was part of the Louvin brothers, one of the most loved duos in early country music.
Sunrise all meet darkness, and death will say hello.
He sang harmony with his brother Ira, and their songs were filled with emotion, faith, and heartbreak. They sang in a simple, clean style that many country and gospel singers copied for years after. Songs like When I Stopped Dreaming and Cash on the Barrelhead helped shape the sound of country music in the 1950s. After the Louvin brothers split, Charlie kept going on his own. He had a long solo career and became a member of the Grand Ole Opry. He was quiet and humble, but country singers looked up to him. Even later in life, younger artists continued to ask him to sing and record with them. In 2010, Charlie was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He went through surgery and treatment, and for a while, he kept performing, but the cancer came back. His health slowly got worse. By early 2011, he was in and out of the hospital. Charlie Louvin passed away on January 26, 2011, after a long battle against cancer. He was 83 years old. His wife and family were with him during his last moments. He will forever be remembered as one of the stars who influenced the style of country music today. Number 8, Dan Seals.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while.
Dan Seals was a country singer who had several hit songs during the 1980s and early 90s. Before that, he was in a pop duo called England, Dan, and John Ford Coley. Later, he transitioned to country music and had hits such as Bop, Everything That Glitters Is Not Gold, You Still Move Me, and Love on Arrival. Dan did not act like a star. He was well known for keeping to himself and focusing solely on his music. His songs primarily focused on family, love, and life. He was also known for being calm and kind off stage, too. He toured frequently, played to large crowds, and was highly respected in the country music industry. In 2008, Dan found out he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That is a type of cancer that affects the lymph system, which helps the body fight infection. He started treatment right away. He went through chemotherapy and had a stem cell transplant. At first, his doctors informed him that there was hope, but the joy was short-lived as the cancer returned and got worse. Dan passed away on March 25, 2009. He was 61 years old after battling with cancer for years. People around him said he had suffered and deserved to rest finally. He was buried at Woodlawn Memorial Park and Mausoleum in Nashville, Tennessee. His service was followed by interment in Section Sunset A, in the southeast corner of the park, close to his brother's resting place. The burial took place shortly after his passing with a private service for family and friends. Number 7. Charlie Rich. Charlie Rich was a country singer known for his distinctive blend of various musical styles. He blended country, jazz, gospel, and blues. In the 1970s, he became one of the biggest names in country music. His best-known songs include Behind Closed Doors, The Most Beautiful Girl, and Rollin' with the Flow. Charlie started as a piano player and songwriter in Memphis. Initially, he worked behind the scenes, writing songs and performing for others. Then he started recording his music. He didn't fit into just one box. His songs had a soft, soulful sound, and they reached both country and pop audiences. In July of 1995, Charlie was traveling with his wife. They were on a road trip from Mississippi to Florida. During the trip, Charlie started feeling sick and was taken to a hospital in Louisiana after receiving antibiotics. He continued traveling and stopped for the night in a motel. He passed away in his sleep on July 25, 1995. He was 62 years old. Doctors found that he had a blood clot in his lung, also called a pulmonary embolism. The clot blocked the blood flow, stopping his breathing. His burial took place shortly after, with a private ceremony for family, and he was laid to rest in Memorial Park Cemetery in Memphis, Tennessee. Number 6. Jim Ed Brown. Jim Ed Brown first became known in the 1950s as part of the Browns, a family trio featuring his sisters Maxine and Bonnie.
Ain't you even gonna cry?
Their song The Three Bells was a huge hit and made them stars. Later, Jim Ed went solo and also sang duets with Helen Cornelius, including hits like I Don't Want to Have to Marry You. He became a regular on the Grand Ole Opry and stayed there for decades. Fans knew him not just as a singer, but also as a radio host. He was friendly, professional, and respected by almost everyone in the country music industry. In 2014, Jim Ed was diagnosed with lung cancer. He started treatment and kept a strong spirit. For a while, things seemed to be improving. However, in early 2015, doctors told him the cancer was in remission. Later that year, the cancer returned. His body grew weaker, and he was hospitalized in June of that year and passed away on June 11, 2015, in Franklin, Tennessee, at the age of 81. He was laid to rest at Woodlawn Memorial Park in Nashville. His voice still echoes through country music today, and he is respected as one of the music legends in country music. Number 5. Holly Dunn. Holly Dunn was a country singer known for her heartfelt songs. In the late 1980s and early 90s, she had several hits, including Daddy's Hands, You Had Me Going, Love Someone Like Me, and Are You Ever Gonna Love Me? Her music was filled with emotion and often centered on family, love, and faith. Holly was born in Texas and came from a musical family. She began her career writing songs for other artists before transitioning into a singer herself. Her biggest hit, Daddy's Hands, was a personal song about her father that touched many people and is still played today. In the late 90s, Holly stepped away from the music business. She worked in Christian radio and became a painter. She stayed out of the spotlight but was still loved by fans who remembered her songs. In 2016, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. The disease was aggressive and had already spread. She began treatment, but the cancer moved fast. Her body grew weak, and she entered hospice care. She passed away on November 14, 2016, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the age 59 years old. She left behind songs and a legacy that country fans would never forget. Number 4, Johnny Paycheck. Johnny Paycheck was known for his wild attitude and rough-edged voice. His biggest hit, "Take This Job and Shove It," became an anthem for working people fed up with being taken advantage of. He also had hits like "She's All I Got" and "Someone to Give My Love To." He sang about hard times, tough love, and living fast. Johnny started as a bass player for other stars, including George Jones. Later, he stepped into the spotlight on his own. His voice was strong and full of emotion. Fans liked that he didn't pretend to be perfect and sang about relatable aspects of real life.
Had all day to rest and relax before I caught my next flight.
In his later years, Johnny's health began to fail. Years of drinking, smoking, and hard living caught up with him. He was diagnosed with emphysema, a serious lung disease that makes it hard to breathe. He also had asthma and other lung problems. He had to stop performing and spent more time in hospitals and at home. Johnny Paycheck passed away on February 19, 2003, in Nashville, Tennessee. He was 64 years old. The cause of death was respiratory failure due to his lung disease. He was laid to rest at Woodlawn Memorial Park. Number 3, Doug Supernaw. Doug Supernaw was a country singer who found fame in the early 1990s. His songs were emotional and deep. His biggest hit was "I Don't Call Him Daddy," a song about divorce and fatherhood that many people connected with. He also had other hits such as "Reno" and "Not Enough Hours in the Night."
Curtains way too soon.
Doug was born in Texas and stayed proud of his roots. His music often had a simple, honest feel. He had a strong voice and sang with real feeling. For a few years, he was a rising star in the country music scene. By the late 90s, his career slowed down. He stepped out of the spotlight for many years. Then, in 2016, he returned to music and started performing again. In 2019, Doug was diagnosed with stage 4 lung and bladder cancer. The cancer had already spread by the time it was found. He began treatment and kept fighting, but the illness moved fast. His health went downhill in just over a year. Doug Supernaw passed away on November 13, 2020 in Texas. He was 60 years old at the time. He was buried in his home state. His music didn't stay long on the charts, but it stayed in the hearts of those who felt every word. Number 2, Boxcar Willie. Boxcar Willie was a country singer known for his old-time train songs, simple style, and kind heart. He dressed like a hobo with a worn-out cap and overalls, but it was all part of his act. He loved singing about railroads, hard times, and small-town America. His real name was Lucille Travis Martin, but everyone knew him as Boxcar Willie. He served in the U.S. Air Force before starting his music career. His big break came later in life after he won a talent show on national TV. From there, he became a regular at the Grand Ole Opry and toured all over the world. Fans liked him because he came across as genuine and never tried to be flashy. In the late 1990s, Boxcar Willie fell ill. Doctors diagnosed him with leukemia, a type of cancer that starts in the blood and bone marrow. He started treatment, but the cancer was already advanced. He spent his final months at home, surrounded by his family. Boxcar Willie passed away on April 12, 1999 in Branson, Missouri. He was 67 years old. He was buried at Ozarks Memorial Park in Branson. His funeral was private and was attended by only family and his close friends. Number 1, Billy Thunderbolt.
Before anything goes wrong.
Billy Thundercloud was a country singer with a strong voice and a powerful presence. He led the group Billy Thundercloud and the Chieftones, often called Canada's all-Indian band. He was a proud member of the Gitxsan Nation and often sang about native pride, love, and the beauty of country life. His best-known song was "What Time of Day," which became a hit in the mid-1970s. Billy and his band toured the United States and Canada for years. They played at rodeos, fairs, and country shows. He stayed active in music for decades and was known for his kindness and energy. Later in life, Billy faced serious health problems. He suffered a stroke, which made it hard for him to speak and perform. He was also diagnosed with stomach and throat cancer, which made his health even worse. He spent his final years in Florida, mostly out of the public eye. Billy Thundercloud passed away on June 5, 2018. He was 70 years old. He had requested no funeral service while he was still alive. The arrangements were private and handled quietly by his family. That meant no public memorial, no fans gathering, just a respectful, personal farewell in line with his wishes. These 20 country stars left behind more than just records and awards. They left behind stories, songs, and memories that still live on. Some passed away quietly, while others fought a long battle, but each one gave something genuine to country music, something that still resonates with people today. They may be gone, but they live on through their music and the impact they all had on country music. Which of these deaths touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.